Central or something. So maybe she having issues getting in.
Yeah, I'm thinking that because it's a different. We didn't use Zoom the last time.
But we're live, darling. We're live.
Are we live?
I believe so, honey. We're live.
Oh,
Live from the kitten's litter box, darling. The litter box.
I
Look,
don't.
I saw live. I just started smiling.
Hey, look.
Welcome, welcome, welcome back to the Cocktail Social. It is your host, Miss Kitty the Cat Couture, aka Blue Waters, coming to you live from the litter. And these are my socialites. My socialites. We've been off for a month, kittens, and I am in rare form today. I am down to socialites, and I don't know if they've been, caught by the catnappers or, they're stuck out doing what cats do when they want us to mind our business. So, to my kittens that are missing, I, I hope that you join us soon. But if you are not, I hope that you're enjoying yourselves at whatever you're doing. Because I'm enjoying myself right now. I got me a cocktail from a party, and it's called the Aqua Blue.
Oh shit.
Aqua Blue.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got a little jungle kick to it.
I thought that was their Windex. Windex.
Let me tell you, it do leave you squeaky clean. So,
I want none of that.
I'm good.
Does she give you diarrhea? Diarrhea.
It's been a month.
You got a
What
damn
have you
animal in
been
there.
doing? What's been going on? It's been a whole month. I'm not going to talk about my situation until at the end. So what's been going on?
I've been working.
Mm.
So it's a whole lot going on with me. I am currently writing, directing, and curating 3 concert events with the Baltimore Rock Opera Society. We had our first one on July 1st,
Mm-hmm.
and it went really well. We were able to get, so far and counting, we have 3.6 thousand views, um, which is way above what we were hoping for, and hopefully we can keep that momentum going. The next show is is August 13th, and that's
Uh-huh.
going to be just as exciting. Also, starting on Tuesdays for the month of July, every Tuesday with the Creative Alliance, I'll be hosting a soul food cooking show um, called Miss Ida's Kitchen, and it will be discussing diaspora food.
Uh-huh.
And I'm doing this radio show. Oh, and July 4th, I will be doing the Cherry Hill Virtual Festival. So I will be
Oh.
on there as well. That will be tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, I don't know what time. Navasha Dea is headlining. Other local artists, Amnia Azar, Ebony Evans, will all be on there. It's gonna be pretty cool. I'm in these virtual streets though.
Okay. Ain't
Oh,
nothing
you's a
wrong.
storer. He's a storer.
Ain't nothing wrong with being out here in these virtual streets. Where can anyone log in at? Where would we have to go?
For the
For,
Cherry
the,
Hill
for,
Festival.
for both the Baltimore Opera Society
For the
and the
Baltimore Opera Society, you just go to their page on Facebook, which is Baltimore Rock Opera Society.
hmm
Uh, for the Creative Alliance, you would just go to the creativealliance.org. That would be on their website.
hmm
For the Cherry Hill Festival, you would just go to the Baltimore Cherry Hill Festival Waterfront Festival virtual show. That
uh-huh.
is up on their site, and and then you can go to www.jonathan.gilmoremusic.com where you can find all this information.
All right, all right, all right. Now about um the show on Wednesday. That was phenomenal. If
Thank
you
you.
have,
Thank
let me tell you something. So I have to. We at the Cocktail Social in another life serve as the
you.
background and support vocalist for Mr. Jonathan Gilmore. And so we have a little tribal thing going on for all my kittens and cats that didn't know. And that's what you see here. So the only one of us that's not a Maybell is Cable. but he's the help. So
you better hope he ain't
I'm
listening.
just saying that on August 13th, y'all will see these three like you have never seen them before.
Right.
And I'm very excited about it.
I will say that after seeing the show, and I'm not talking from a bias, I think I'm a critical person when I look at stuff, even when it's stuff about me. And so I will look for the flaws first. I go in looking for all the flaws and everything that I do, because for me it's I don't believe in perfection, but I believe getting close enough. You know what I mean? Like really, and if we can get damn near close to perfection, I'm really, really fucking good. And what I will say is that I was not expecting what I saw. And I was absolutely like, yes, motherfucking man. Yes, listen to that. Listen to them syllables. Yes, motherfucking man.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, y'all, and the fact is that like, it's like even when I first started doing this, you get used to, because our online stuff is completely different from doing it live. Because online, when you live, you live. People there in the audience, you can feed off their energy. When you online, you don't know who the fuck listening to you. You don't know what, and you are.
You don't know if they're going boo.
Right. Get this shit out of here.
Right. That was the worst shit we ever heard. So, and Baltimore is a tough place. Baltimore is extremely tough. So when you're online, you're very conscious of the cameras. You're like, oh my God, because it's not like you're looking at someone these are people that are like, look, we turn the camera on. It's up to you to do what you need to do. And if you suck, we're not going to feel any kind of way, because we still going to get our money and you still suck. So I was like, oh, hold on. I was in my head, but I was in the moment, and it felt good. It felt really good. It went faster than I expected.
Oh, it went super fast. Super fast.
Like, what in the whole hell is?
I thought it was going to be at least 2 hours.
I was waiting for when it was over with. I was like, oh yeah, this is the intermission.
Right.
No, bitch.
I was mad with the end.
Is this the end?
Right. They was looking at me like, no, bitch, it's time for you to get your ass up out of here. Like, what? Seriously?
We was just as disappointed as the people in the chat and shit. They was like, no.
Right.
Yeah, I was excited, especially for me to do things on a work day. That was a work day for me. And I was like, oh my goodness, what is we gonna do? What is we gonna do? And I've also, so that was that. That was my take on it. I opened up Kittens because we've been gone for a month. So I know things have been occurring with everyone. So for Mr. Gilmore, he's been out producing, writing, curating, singing, dancing, cooking, massaging. He does let me tell y'all ladies, he does an excellent lymphatic massage where he rubs your lymph nodes down and emphatically and makes it really romantic and sexual for you. It's really good. This nigga let me tell you something. He's a jack of all trades. He do a whole lot of shit. Y'all need to check him out. You need to order him. Get him now a lymphatic massage.
Okay.
And he'll feed you good after he rub you down. And then he say, told you so. Miss K, welcome.
By the skin of my teeth.
Okay. You good? You joined us?
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. I wish I had a drink. I'm gonna get one in a second. I'm waiting for my lemonade to cool down because it was 99 degrees outside and I was out there with it.
Yeah.
Them 99 degrees.
I got lemonade waiting too.
Listen, I'm a lady of a certain age and she no longer enjoys being hot in the summertime. That you know that right now. Don't take my temperature to 99, okay? I don't want to be hot.
Yeah.
at all. No, but shut up. But no, this past month has been an incredible journey for me. Like I'm in the home buying process. That's something new for me. Shout
Yes,
out
ma'am.
to Rhonda Snowden. Shout out to Rhonda Graves Snowden of Real T1 Group Excellence. She is the bomb.com as far as realtors are concerned. Thank you, Frank. What is Frank's last name? Frank Savage. He's my lender. Thank you, Kathy Poindexter from Park Heights Renaissance Home Buying Education Class. Like everything that I've gone through, even some of the stuff that caused a little bit of disappointment, positive experience I have had, and I'm learning along the way. And I think I owe it all to those people who I just mentioned. So, yeah, that's what I've been doing this month is packing and saving money and giving money and shopping for houses and all that good stuff. So, yay, I'm excited.
Was it
And
scary
singing in the
for you?
background.
Were you scared? Was it like scary for you? Was it hard to do the home buying process? Was it difficult?
Leap was the scary part. Like saying, okay, I'm gonna do it. Like I had been to like 3 and 4 home buyer education classes, never would go to the one-on-one class. I got all kinds of certificates, but it was never enough for me to buy a house. I had the money saved. It was just a matter of jumping out there and doing it. And I finally was like, oh, fuck it. Now I think COVID prompted me the most.
Okay.
Because it's like, one, I'm gonna take advantage of these super low interest rates. And 2, if something serious was to jump off where I had to be bunkered down in my house, I would rather it be in something that I own where I can board the windows and the doors and the whatever else is, instead of in a rental property where I can hear my neighbors argue over each other looking through each other's cell phones.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is that I was interested in it myself, home buying, and but my concern is paying for all of the other shit, because when stuff happens to your home, you're responsible for it.
Right.
So that's the difference in like paying a renter, but being in a rental property, the reality is that that's not yours. So at any given moment, they can jack up the price, they can kick you out, they can come in there and move their family in and you out and shit like that. So my thing was, my thing is that it was comparing the pros and cons of having one to the other. And I do know that the pros of having a rental property is that you can call your landlord and make sure that this shit is fixed. But the reality is that that's not always the truth.
But that don't mean he gonna fix it to your liking either, because they can.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. They come in and they'll patch like shit in a rental. Whereas even if you get your homeboy's baby father's cousin to do work in your house, at least you can stand there, watch it, and make sure that it's done properly. As opposed to somebody coming in possibly when you're not home, looking at it and going, oh yeah, if I slap some paint on it, she ain't gonna know that I really do nothing.
Right.
So that was
not only. Go ahead.
No, what were you about to say?
I was gonna say one of the other pros about home ownership is, like you said, stability in rent, and then the fact that you own it. But also you have something that it's almost another income stream, because you provided where you live at, your house is good and your area is nice, you can build equity, and that's an income stream, and it's legacy. You can pass that house on to whoever you want to, keep it in your family name. So
you are absolutely right, and that's how I was looking at it. I was thinking to myself, well, but the pros of it is that this is something that you can pass on to your family. And yes, I do have family out there. I have children of my own. They may not be my personal children, but I've claimed them.
He said, shoot, I bet you myself.
I've been trying. I've been trying to get pregnant for so long.
Practice makes perfect.
I mean, I don't know what is going on. I don't know what is going on with my womb.
Check your ovaries.
It's my ovaries. I got descendant ovaries. So
Right. True story.
Got them outside ovaries.
I got prolapsed ovaries. My ovaries done fell out. And I done banged my ovaries out.
At least you put them in a nice bag.
Jonathan, I apologize. You were not ready for that gay joke right there.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. And it was funny to me.
Why Johnny look like he country clubbing?
He's sleeping that bitch. That's why he got them glasses on. He ain't paying no answers to nobody. He sleep like a motherfucker. Look at his roof.
Miss Mizell, what are you up to?
Still gardening. I got a couple cucumbers coming in.
Yes.
And I found out that the bell peppers that I thought I was growing turned out to be jalapenos.
I want some of
They
them.
was labeled wrong.
I want some of them. Save me
So
some.
I got jalapenos. So I'm gonna be a jalapeno pepper making some of my shut your mouth.
I hear you.
All I know is that just sounds like hot ass syndrome, because that right there.
Hot ass syndrome. Yes.
You gotta ration it out to yourself. You can't do it all at once, you know.
Talk about you gonna be a potential set designer pretty soon.
What happened?
Yeah, you might be a potential set designer.
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I forgot about that. It's funny though, because I had just said, like, I mean, it was almost like magic. Like I had just said, I was like, you know what? I probably would really have fun doing like set design. And it was like a couple days later, it was like, bing, hey, we do set design. I mean, it was like so in my face that I was like, are you serious right now? It was crazy. But I'm looking forward to it. It's just so much stuff. I got so much creative stuff bubbling in my brain right now.
What's up, Adrian?
Here.
Oh, it's a chat. I didn't know anything about
Yeah,
it.
you gotta check that chat button at the bottom.
Oh, okay. So we were supposed to be guided by our other kitten who is not with us today, because I don't know where this kitten is. Mr. Cable, he's out here roaming these streets.
Out here, alley
catnip, and I'm like, what did you out here alley catting for?
Mm-hmm.
You gonna catch corona like that and come back with that COVID
like this.
Catch them fleas. So the reason that I was off for the entire month of June was I had an attack of old people. And old people attack. I was just, and I have to realize that as I get older,
I am. Yourself again?
Huh?
You've been shitting on yourself again?
No.
Oh Lord.
That's because he was out alley catting.
Well, I wish, and I do honestly wish that I was out alley catting, but I was not. In a perfect world, I would have enjoyed alley catting, but no, I was just in recovery. I was, recovering. I'm not going to go into detail on what old person cootie I had, but it was an old person.
Hemorrhoids.
No, no. I did not have the pals.
I was about sitting on that concrete.
Prolapse. I got prolapse.
That's what the elders would call the grannies. You got pals. It ain't the pal. That's not it. That was not the pal. So we were supposed to have this awesome show in June, and then I wasn't available. So I'm available now, and the questions that, Mr. Gilmore, you had some questions, and Cable also had some questions as well. So I'm going to start off with the first cocktail question that was posed by Mr. Corsi. and that was, why do we still support the NAACP?
Who said we were supporting it?
Well, why not?
I'll
Why
say
do
this
we?
for me and the NAACP and where I stand with it. I do still support them. I think that we being geographically where we are not able to see the on the ground work that is being done, even with the headquarters being here. But I know that the work that they still do in the South is needed and it's incredible. They are
Mhm.
still being doing legal work for people who have no legal representation, or if the district attorneys or any of those public defenders or whatever are not quick to take their cases. And then they're doing a lot for voter registration and rights.
Mhm.
As we know in the South right now, voter suppression is still very much a thing.
Mhm.
There are some laws that are still in place that are archaic, and the
Mhm.
NAACP is still actively working to get rid of them, and they have had some pretty big wins in the last 2 months. So I will say that, when it comes to these historic organizations, it's hard because we want to see like in real time what's happening, but a lot of the work they're doing is still very much grassroots,
Mhm.
and a lot of it's still pretty much in the court system. And I think it's also a fact that we need to understand what each organization is in place for.
Mhm.
Because sometimes we'll look for
Yeah,
an organization to come out for one thing, but that's just because that's the name we know, but that's not what they do. So
right.
I will say that I do personally still support, but I still hold accountable as well. So when they
Okay.
fuck up, I'm going to be the first one to say it, but I
Mhm.
do still support.
I agree with that. That first answer, I was joking, but I agree with that.
What? But
Like,
no. But go
'cause
with you.
I just think a lot of the works that they do are not necessarily covered in mainstream media where we would know about it. So it's like if
Oh
you're not,
no,
like a lot of people would say, well, oh, the NAACP, NAACP, they ain't do this or they ain't do that, and it's like, okay, but look at all the stuff that they are doing. That's not being, necessarily televised. You know what I mean? And they are doing it, but I think that if we had our own means of communication, as far as where we get our information from, because that they're not going to cover, stuff pertaining particularly to us on mainstream media. So it's like, okay, so we have to find other ways to let it be known that, okay, they are out there still working. This is some of the things that they have accomplished in the process of them being out there, working.
um,
Could somebody research how you could join the NAACP?
I was
Um,
just about to say how you can. One of the great ways you can join, and I do recommend for anyone that is just a friend of my brother Charles Jackson, who was the former president of the Young Urban League. I forget the whole acronym, but he's with the Urban League, and but he does updates at least 3 times a month on what each historic organization is still currently doing on his Facebook page, um,
mhm.
Okay, that's a
as
good.
well as he gives you the link to how you can join each group. Um,
Okay.
so Urban League does more financial literacy and economic stability for Black people. So that is
Mhm.
something that they kind of hone in on specifically. But I definitely recommend it just because one of the things I saw when all of this hopped off was, a lot of people started pointing the finger like, how come they not doing this? And people were going in on Jesse Jackson. And I mean, there's a lot to go in on Jesse Jackson on, but also this man is about 80 now. He is an elder, and the work that he's done, I respect what he has done. And the fact that y'all are still saying, like, not y'all in particular, but people, Black folks in general, are still yelling about, well, why isn't he there? Or why Jesse Jackson currently has Parkinson's,
Mhm.
Yeah,
and this man was still in Minneapolis when the protesting started. He
Mhm.
still flew to Kentucky and to Louisville when the protesting started there. He still flew to D.C. It's like, do you want your grandfather
but
about
I was
80
about to
years
say
old with
that. My
Parkinson's?
Thank you.
Still out here. He shouldn't have to still be
Uh,
there. We still shouldn't be holding him to that
Thank you.
measure because we keep saying, "Oh, the old guard won't sit down," but we won't let them sit the fuck down because they don't stand the fuck
Yeah,
up. So,
exactly. Like,
And
yeah, like I feel like, like younger people have to step in and take over some of these roles so that, like you said, that, I mean, like Jesse Jackson, as old as he is, you know, it's dangerous for him to be out there, to be honest.
with Parkinson's,
Especially with what's going on. You know what I'm saying? You got
yeah,
coronavirus going on, then you got people that's attacking and people that's out there rioting and all that stuff, and he out there trying to, like
he
it's too
is
much.
exactly like he is the susceptible person. He old, he got already pre-existing disease, but he's
I
still.
mean, if he had to run, could he run? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I ain't picking on him, but I'm just saying, like, you got to think about that when you out there. You know what I'm saying? Like when you out there protesting and all that other stuff. And I'm not against it, and I'm not. I understand it. I'll just leave it at that. I understand it.
mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you got to think about if you go out there and something pop off, are you in the condition to be able to get out of the situation if something pop off? If you got to run, can you run?
Without assistance.
Can you run and be able to protect yourself, knowing that you're going to Burger King every day, eating, onion rings and you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, can you?
But it's not even that.
run?
If you just have a respiratory issue and they tear gas,
Yeah.
then that right there, like I
Your
know
lungs
that if
gonna
I
close
got
up
tear
like shit.
gas, then I'm going to be a martyr of the movement, and it'll be an in memoriam going across your screen because
Mhm.
I don't have the lungs.
Now
for
you
it.
standing out there with balloons and fucking teddy bears and shit. For what? If you know you ain't in a condition to be, I mean, I'm gonna be quiet because I'm
No, you speaking truth.
Yeah. That's a valid
because
point.
I'm not gonna carry my fat ass out there. I don't mean no harm, but
But it's not about. I don't think
I
it's
can't do it.
that we get caught up in the march and the protest. A protest is a direct action for what's going on. A march is to show solidarity of the mass group of people that are together on this one issue. We agree on this, and now after the march is when now we're going to go do the work. But this is all the motherfuckers y'all got getting ready to do this work against the bullshit you're about to do. But the work is so varied.
Yeah.
It's not just
Yeah.
one thing. The work is so many things. I think one of the people I'm going to be talking about on Tuesday, and we're not related to her at all, but her name is Georgie Gilmore. She completely funded the marches in Alabama, Mississippi, and in Memphis. And she was from Alabama, and she did it by cooking. She did
Mhm.
chicken dinners and soul cake. Completely.
Alright.
Georgia Guild. Like, we need those people who are still keeping a
Alright.
steady stream of money moving. We need those people who can just say, look, I'll help you on the mental health thing, or I'll help you on this. I'm going to plan this. I'm going to amplify Black voices this way so we can still get other people in because we do need allies. We know that bullshit.
We do. I think that a good thing is what Christy was saying, and all of your points have been really valid. I believe that the reason why it appears that the NAACP has fallen out is because we do not hear a lot about it, and people don't really talk about it as much as they did before. I also believe that we don't seek out information. And you have to.
If it's not affecting people right then and there, they're not going to look up information. You know what I mean? I'm a type of person, I just like knowledge. So I would do that. But some other people, they just like, if it's not entertaining to them, they don't want to know about it.
Right. And I think that's the thing. That was my issue with a lot of things, is that a lot of people expect things to come to them. And you have to seek that information out. That means moving, stepping outside of your comfort zone and doing something that you probably haven't done before, and that's what, a lot of information is. There are a lot of resources here in Baltimore that people don't know about, but that's the primary reason is they're not asking any questions. They're not saying, where do I go for this? Or how do I join this? And why is this important? And that's even with the NAACP and the Baltimore Urban League. Those organizations are very important organizations to join, to get involved, because they offer you information about what's going on in your communities that you may not be aware is even going on.
Right. And I think it's important that people join to diversify the Black voices that are there. You know, if the only people joining are one kind of Black person, then they're only going to be able to do but so much.
Absolutely.
And we really have to diversify these places with us.
Absolutely. What happened to Miss Mizell?
I'm here. I had to go get my my cocktail.
I'm about to say,
I need to go get mine. I just can't figure out how to turn off my GDP.
What?
Get your cocktails, ladies and gentlemen. Get your cocktails. We are here live at the Kocktail Social. I am with three of my four socialites. They my major cats. They my major alley cats right here. Major alley cats. There's another question that I am going.
They sound like they're in a fight. You're gonna be all right.
I'm about to go get right in there.
What happened?
The hell is happening over there?
Ooh, they sound like that. Look, you said they sound like they're in a pipe. Wait a minute. I'm struggling with what that sounds like. What does it sound like when you in a pipe? And is that code for something? Is that code? What would a pipe? This one, I can't wait till they.
I said a fight. You know.
I'm sorry. Technology and old age got me.
But it is funny as shit because it sounds like that too.
I said,
they down like they far away.
They fall away. They laughing and stuff. They like, what in the hell?
What the hell is happening? He sound like he under the bed now. What you looking for? A shoe?
I think one of the neighbors just stepped in.
Oh shit.
Wow. Well, Miss Mizell is just us for the moment.
Well.
And he said one of the questions that Mr. Gilmore posed was, are we prepared for change? So are we prepared for change? And I think what he was speaking of was the Black people. Are we prepared for change? And
what does that mean, being prepared?
As a whole?
I think it may. I will ask him when he steps back into the room. But this is more about, I guess it could be the whole. Like, are we prepared for change? Are we ready for where this movement is heading?
I mean,
are we prepared?
I don't think we fully know where it's headed. So I think that's part of the why people are afraid and stuff like that is because I mean even on the European side, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like I think everybody is afraid to change. And because they don't know what to expect. And so they would rather deal with what they know now, as fucked up as it may be, they'll rather deal with what we got now than to not know what they're going to get. And I think that's what the problem is with most people when it comes to change. Now, if it's a change for the better, you got to say, well, okay, who is the change for the better for?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he didn't.
Look, I made a change for the better because it was hot as shit outside.
I told you I was going to go outside and sit and be all out, and I was like, fuck that, no.
I was sitting there rapping.
Like a greased pig.
Thank you, love. I wish you were here. Mwah.
Shit.
Hey, Bree.
Hey, babe, how you doing? God damn, it's hot outside.
So we want to get clarification about your question, Mr. Gilmore. The question you asked was, are you prepared for change? And when you say prepared for change, first of all, we have to identify, are you saying you plural or you individually or both? Well, and
I'm talking about the personal and collective.
okay.
Change is something that we all ask for, but we're not prepared for the actual work of change. There's the shift is not ever going to be easy to change. I don't care what kind of change it is. Change. I mean, if it's meant for you, it's going to be good, but it's always going to involve getting rid of some old shit to bring in the new.
What are you doing?
Amen to that one.
I don't know
I'm drinking that.
when we yell change.
I'm going to drink to that.
I don't know if people are really ready for it. Like, think about
motherfucking mind.
Who's yelling at?
Look.
But
right.
No, but I believe, I think that not a lot of people are absolutely ready to say Black Lives Matter, and I'm talking about Black people.
That is
true. I think that many of them are only saying Black men's lives matter. Straight Black men lives matter. And that is not that's
the conversation earlier.
That is us operating under colonial thought, where we believe that manhood or anything trumps over anything. And I do mean trumps because it's just a very white way of thinking. And that's not how we think.
Let me tell you something.
That's not a traditional Black thought. And Blue, I agree with you. I love when you post it. And I have also started posting it that all Black lives.
Yeah, they do.
That's one of them.
You can't pick and choose. I had this conversation earlier. You can't pick and choose who you want. Like it's almost like, oh well, you're not Black enough.
No such thing.
And it's like okay, if you are Black, if you're Black, regardless of where you at and you Black, we have all experienced some type of racism. It may not be the Klan knocking at your door racism that they might experience in some places in the South.
Wait a minute, Marcel. Did the Klan ever knock? I didn't know they knocked.
Their knock was get your ass out here.
When you said they knocked, I was impressed. I was like, these are some very civil people.
We colors in here.
Yeah.
I hate to bother you.
We'd like to lynch you today.
Right.
You know what the hell I'm saying.
Excuse me, are there any more Negroes in there? Perhaps.
Could you please pass the niggas?
Right.
I get what you're saying. Right. I absolutely agree. What were you saying, Mazel? I'm sorry.
I don't even know because I was laughing so damn hard at we so stupid, but yeah. But I'm just saying, like it's. I mean, okay, just because you didn't have you experience racism. So regardless of, whether you have, a mob outside the door of racism, or whether it is you walking down the street and a police officer just profile you racism, or you get looked at in a store because, they check your receipt and don't check the white lady in front of you receipt or whatever, racism, it's still racism. And regardless of the fact, we're all hurt by it. I think a lot of times we'll try to put, oh, well, you ain't experienced the racism like how I experienced it, but how can you even have that argument when it's like, okay, both of us experienced it, and you can't tell me that the way I feel is any less than the way you feel right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think there's so many issues within our own community that outside people can't really take us seriously because they can't even come to an agreement amongst themselves. You said Black Lives Matter, but they over here killing themselves. And but they have people protesting that too.
Right.
It don't get covered, but they have people protesting that too. But I think at what point, like back in the day, if you was out here in these streets and you was doing some stupid shit, an elder could come up to you and talk and check your ass and be like, and what's your mother's phone number? and they will call. I mean, that's if they could, you could get the number because, like, I mean, I ain't ever one out there doing no crazy shit like that. But the point is, you could get checked. But now it's like the older people kind of, scared to say stuff because it's like, hell, if you shooting a lady on her front porch for you throwing a chicken bone in her yard and she asks you to get it up and you shoot her, like, who you scared to say anything to any damn body? So
but wouldn't you say that has been a part of the resource or the changing socialization of current Black culture though? Like I feel like that has all been a very intentional move on how we've been re-socialized as a community.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been inward and outward because outwardly they know what buzzwords to hit to trigger us inwardly, and then it runs like an infection. When the worst thing I think I've seen, and I know that I'm going to get a lot of disagreement about this, but they did a march in Harlem, and it was all of these men in suits, and I still don't know what the fuck that was supposed to prove.
They were in what?
Well, they were in three-piece suits. They would wear shirts, ties. I mean, they were suited and booted.
Because at one point, but you got to look at it at one point in time, that's how we dress.
That means shit to me.
Yeah.
Martin Luther King was killed in a suit. Medgar Evers was killed in a suit. Malcolm X was killed in a suit. I don't give a. That is a level of still trying to find respect and still trying to get some approval from a white person. I'm no longer at. I don't give a shit. I think that if you're going to have all these Black men suited and booted, then all right. Then I'm gonna tell the Black men, all the drag queens, come suited and booted, come in your best drag.
And that's how that's how it should be. Come in your best drag, come in your best whatever. Everybody.
But that's how people have. We've done these little things to separate. Where if you're in a suit, then you get the women. Oh, I love to see a man in a suit. That's this, that, and the third. And then you chastise the young man who has his pants hanging down. I don't give a fuck how low his pants are. If you want his ass out, have your ass out. I'm worried about what's up here. Because if you're thinking it's fucked up and you think that you're less than, and we are perpetuating the fact that we think you're less than because of it, a suit is never going to clean that shit up.
No. Mm-hmm. Like putting lipstick on a pig.
No, you cannot.
You spoke a word. You are all speaking words. Let me tell you something. When I first thought about I've always been a gung ho Black Lives Movement. Let me tell you why. Black Lives Matter individual. But let me tell you why I stopped doing the actual activism in the way that I was doing it before. Because for me, being an activist is being a change agent, being someone that goes out and you are not asking to be heard. You are demanding to be heard. And even if their ears are closed, you're still yelling so that they can indirectly, it's in their mind. They want to tune you out, but they really can't. And so being an activist for me was someone being a change agent. You went out there, you marched because you wanted to actually see something happen as a result of you marching. I stopped doing it when I felt like the individuals that were in these groups, that were leading these groups, were fighting amongst one another because they were all trying to shove their views or their perspective down each other's throats. And it was like, no, everyone can have a piece of the pie and everyone can contribute to the taste. Now some tastes we may say it just doesn't work, but some may bring out the flavor. And so it was like everyone's opinion, everyone's ideas could have worked, but they're so bent on, I'm doing this and I'm the only one that, I'm the guru about this, I'm the guru about that. And so I said, well, maybe I don't want to be on the front line doing this because I saw that it was political. Maybe what I want to do is work in the background and just, sow some seeds, put some thoughts out there. In my profession, I was able to hear stories from a different angle. A lot of times we see individuals, especially Black individuals, as the criminal. But we do not know the backstory of why they are the criminal. And that is the most important story.
Mhm.
Now, I was saying Black Lives Matter because in my mind, I had an idea what that Black life looked like. And that was me. And I was measuring all Black lives off of the ruler I use to measure myself. So that may mean that I'm okay with polyamory. You may not be, but according to my measurement, if you polyamorous, you okay. So that's a bias on my ruler. And so I was measuring everyone based off of me until I had the opportunity of working with individuals that have been affected by things that I may be completely against. And I started shifting and I started to say, but what about these individuals? What about the killers? What about the individuals that are in jail? Are all of them guilty? Or are all of them affected by the societies that they've been conditioned to live in? And so the reality is that I believe our society breeds these things, but we become elitist and we exclude individuals. For instance, the LGBTQ community. And it's funny because civil rights is about people just having your civil liberties, not Black people, but people. If there is a civil rights issue that involves a Latino individual, civil rights agencies will support that individual, even gay individuals. But a lot of Black people see it as civil rights is just for Black people. No,
Black straight people.
no,
Right, right.
that is not the truth. And the reality is that you should really look into what the civil rights movement is about and who was actually involved with it.
That's right.
Because you will see that many of the individuals that you're choosing to exclude
Mm-hmm.
standing with you.
Yep.
It's like those types of things. So that's why I change it to say all Black lives matter. Because what happens is that pedophile didn't become a pedophile just out of the blue.
Mm-hmm.
There was a contributing factor to that young man that killed that other man. That transgendered youth did not, that was a struggle for them to come to terms with who they are. You don't know that struggle. So when I hear Black Lives Matter, I hear the elitism amongst Black people. And I find that to be very
that the three women that started it didn't. That wasn't their goal, and that still isn't their goal.
Exactly. But that's just like
The three women have been almost displaced once Black men got into it. And I'm saying this because I think I need to hold my brothers very much accountable in this time because we are showing the worst of ourselves. I feel like we are collectively vibrating at such a low level.
Yes.
That it can in no way be who we are. And I refuse to accept that it's being a representation of who we are. But when you say that, it makes me think of when they were beating the young woman in Minneapolis at the gas station. And the men that protected her were two Middle Eastern Muslim men. Who is more conservative? You know? And they were like, "This is just wrong. What are y'all doing?" But and I mean, 30 people, not just Black men, it was Black women too, beat the shit out of this woman, this transgender woman, just in the midst of the George Floyd protest. And it made me start thinking of, and now that was when I became upset with organizations like NAACP and Urban League because I thought that was an opportunity where they should have band together to amplify the fact that was fucked up. But another organization that I think everybody should know, and the video is awful. I will say if you're very sensitive to those things, do not watch it. That and Elijah McCain video, do not watch. But the American Civil Liberties Youth, the ACLU. If you want to join something to also jump on, I love I think that they are historically, they have been at the forefront of all of the civil rights, any of the civil rights. If it
Mm-hmm.
if it's abortion or women health rights or
Mm-hmm.
men's rights, black rights, indigenous people. They were the ones that did the loving case that made it possible for interracial couples to get married, as well as they were very much involved in getting the same-sex marriage laws passed. They are about, as you were saying, Blue, as a whole, civil rights. When we fight for our rights, this is what white people never get is when we get our rights, you automatically are winning as well from these same things. Y'all are going to get that trickle down kind of liberties that we're fighting for.
Exactly.
And I that brings to mind something that I feel like that's almost like the difference between getting the medication that will allow you to live versus the medication that will cure you. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's like we have this notion that if you cure somebody, that they won't need the medication again. Well, that don't mean you won't contract just because you got the cure. But that's the idea of we can't give them a cure for anything. We can just give them medication to address the symptoms. So it will make them comfortable, but they'll never be free of needing us.
Exactly.
And the reality is that if you fix my car, that means that I'm gonna come to you when my car needs fixing. So if you did a good job the first time, because I know you fix cars, I'm gonna bring it to you when it needs to be fixed. And it's just like when I think of the things that we as a people are going through, it's like, oh my goodness, we get in our own way. We are that literal example of what tripping over your own feet looks like. That's been the Black movement. That's why I deliberately now say all Black lives, because all of us, all of us, all of the Black lives. That means
the corny ones and the
black,
ones
off black, watered down black, black with 2% milk,
black,
whole fat black,
partially black,
all Black lives matter.
spotted black, regular old black,
cured black, whatever
Every
black you are,
all the black.
your life matters. And until we embrace that, until we challenge those that think like an elitist group, why don't their lives matter? If there is something that they need work with, we should be the ones that figure out how to rehabilitate, not jail like an animal for and then they become a literal zoo. People go there and be like, sponsor this animal in this cage right here. That's what commissary is. We send you money to feed this animal. Well, motherfucker, who told you to catch the animal?
Right.
For entertainment purposes, and that's what it is. And so for me, it's like, you know what? What do we do to include those individuals that are marginalized to the point where even us, we avoid, we don't even look at them. And my thing is, homeless lives. Look, what about the Black homeless?
Right.
Differently.
Everybody, let me tell you something. Everybody talking about these people out here in these businesses, but these people sleep on the street. You don't think COVID would fucking kill them fat? What are you?
That point.
It's actually a guy.
Yes.
My, I wish I had the link, but it was a guy that was he was a doctor and he was actually going out and treating the homeless people and testing them to make sure that they didn't have COVID. And it was a Black doctor, and he was going out and testing them and making sure that they were good and checking on them and giving them medical treatment if they needed it or whatever. And he was like, these are the people who are most vulnerable, just like some of these nursing homes. Like it's like they don't have the same. I think nursing homes should be treated like hospitals. Because those are like some of the most vulnerable people. And then it's like they don't have the supplies, to keep, both their staff safe and the, people that's in there safe. So it gets in there and then it runs rampant because, they're older people, they're susceptible to certain stuff because they got certain ailments and stuff like that. And then next thing you know, you got 30 people who then died. What the hell?
I wanted to add something to that.
Oh, go ahead.
And I want to ask all of you, historically, and this is going from Europe, and I'm not thinking about America, historically, what do white people do with their elders?
They put them in fucking homes and lock them away, like they forget about them.
They put them away.
No. I'm talking about even before they were somewhere to put them.
They just leave them for themselves. They done.
They hit them.
They hit them. They left them out in the wilderness.
Yeah, they just,
Unless you were rich. One of the things we were talking about as we sit in this country and we take on some of their things, and I'm not even going to say we could go to Africa and it would be any different because colonialism has clearly affected Africa as well.
Can I say something? Yes. You better say a word.
You got Chinese and African.
Really fucks with me is that we have adopted some of these white things where we don't take care of our elderly or hold them in the esteem that they should, because we are not thinking that we will get there. One day you will be
right, and it's like
but that is everybody talks about the Asian community takes care of their elderly. This community, the Black community did too.
Yeah.
But as we sit under in the stew of colonialism, we start taking on and adapting to some of these things. And the disregard for life, the movement towards religion away from spirituality, the movement beyond just any regard for anything is
other than self.
Other than self, is just not collectively who the world is without Europe. And I believe that Europe has that thinking colonially has spread, and it is kind of rearing its head in COVID. We are seeing so much. One of the things Dr. Fauci said, who I don't quote often at all, but he said it definitely showed how systemic racism is. He said even more so than he could have imagined. And in this country, he said there were so many things that he was like, I foolishly thought had just kind of resolved, but through this health issue, we really just see it glaringly out there. And how long have we all been under this post-racial thing? And colonialism has not died. That shit is still strong. That's why we think you hear Black people talk about, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to Africa and open up a business. So why are you gonna go and open up a business for shit they don't need because they already got? But you think that you Black and American, and
it's like going over that bitch and opening up a braiding shop.
Right.
I'm asleep. I can't.
Right. Like
you're like the fuck, like this is what we do. Like the fuck out of here.
Like, where you think you got it?
Not saying that you couldn't open up a business, but the fact that we think that we have to go and I'm gonna open up a business and I'm gonna buy all this land up and shit. So you're gonna go do what?
First of all, Africa is not as poor as they make it out to be.
Right.
See, people think that they going over there and all the Africans got flies running mouth and everybody fucking poor and this and the other. All of the countries are not like that. You know what I mean?
So can I say, I really appreciate you saying that, because they don't realize, first of all, on the map, Africa is minimized. It is not that size. And the reality is that is a continent consisting of countries. Multiple countries.
Hundreds
in a country.
Oh, wait a minute, they cross hemispheres.
In one country. Do you know how diverse one country is?
Yes.
So I think we minimize the size of Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And hold on before I continue, because let me tell you, I was about to go in, but before I continue, to all my guests,
go all the way in.
All the way in. To all of my guests who are joining us watching the Kocktail Social at the moment, You can call in if you'd like to be a part of the conversation. The number is 443-642-9403. Again, that number is 443-642-9403. Now, I will not guarantee that you will hear my lovely purring voice. Most people call me that. You might not hear my voice, but your voice will be heard because I'll make sure that whatever it is that you want to talk about or if it's something that you got to say, I'm going to feed it. We're going to talk because this is the Cocktail Social and this is what we motherfucking do. I mean. So now back to the conversation. Y'all are really going in tonight. I have to just give you socialize. I don't know what were y'all drinking? And you know what? Hold on, Miss K.
Yes.
I feel like you've been quiet. What's going on?
She been killing it, putting up the posters.
Oh no, I think
NAACP, join the ACLU.
I
This lady's
see.
been on it.
I'm trying, you know.
And handling that chat room too. Go forward.
Listen, all I'm saying is I'm quiet, I'm listening, I'm enjoying the conversation, but I have really been going since 7 o'clock this morning. That heat ain't no joke. It drained this old lady. I'm trying to get my life in order, okay?
Oh
Like
my.
I literally ran in here, threw my bags and my groceries in the refrigerator, logged on, and then sat. That's why I was like, how much time do I have? I sat down just in time for this show. So this is my moment of deflate, and I'm enjoying the information. Like I'm enjoying the conversation in general. I get to be a fly for a change. I'll chime in. I'm okay. I'm here. I got my drink in my cup, and it's delicious.
Now the reason why I was saying it is because I didn't want you to know I'm paying attention to everything. So I was like, hold on, I need Miss K to say something. You know, if she feel like, because I was like, I talk everybody in a hole. So I was like, I want to give everybody an opportune time to say what they have to say. And so I was like, wait a minute. Okay, making sure.
I promise I'm good. I'm good, y'all.
Because the bitch is the mouth of the East. You know, we got some big ass mouths of the East. So we talk.
The talkinator, huh?
I am the motherfucking native. Exactly. I am the bitch of the East. That's me. So, you know, I will. So I just wanted to make sure that you got your thoughts and everything heard.
No, I'm good.
Good. That was amazing. Wow. So, I'll leave. Anyone that have a question or a topic that they want to talk about? Because
I'll agree. Turkey butts or ham pies?
turkey butts.
Depends on what you're cooking.
Turkey butts. I need these turkey eggs. Give me the turkey eggs.
I don't want that. First of all, I don't want none of
It
this.
is my goal to give you. You are gonna love turkey butts.
Turkey butts are awesome.
First of all,
you know what? I'm gonna stew some down and some onions and peppers.
I don't even need all that. I don't even need all that. Just give me a smoked one.
Let me tell you, only ass I like to eat is the ass on a. Never mind.
Well, Blue, it's not the whole. So I'm just saying, it ain't the whole.
Never mind.
So if you think you about to get
you trying to play the assholes, right? He just said, "Is this calamari? That ain't no goddamn calamari, bitch."
I mean,
first of all, it looked like a puck. It looked like Trump mouth. You know that. Now you eat a bowl of.
Was unprepared for that.
First of all, Miss Mizell, I object. I object to that whole fucking example. I don't know what type of assholes you think I like.
See, look, you blowing that shit. That shit blowing back at you.
I am a connoisseur.
I don't like none. I don't like none.
I am an elitist to the assholes that I like. I am no puckers. I don't know nothing. I don't like puckers.
She's like Peanut Kid singing and shit.
Oh, y'all, none. I don't want ham hocks or turkey butts.
No,
Give me a
this is
turkey
it,
leg.
you know what here. If I
Smoked.
call it a tail, will that help like oxtail?
Well, wait a minute.
Look,
Tail.
yeah, exactly. Tail. It's actually turkey
turkey
tail.
tail.
We calling it turkey butts, but it's turkey
But
And
tail.
it's
let me
really
tell
a
you,
tail.
oxtails are everything. When you cook them
Oh,
right.
My
When you
father
cook
make an oxtail soup. Oh, good mugger. He was
And
mad as shit with me one day. I
oxtails
wouldn't
I
have
made.
ate all the oxtails out of his goddamn soup. He was
Oxtails
mad
are
as
one of
shit.
those things that I cannot eat in public.
What?
because it's yeah.
Oxtails.
Oh no, because
disrespectful.
see, I come from a long line of bone gnaws.
Right.
So you know,
Sucking, slurping, and bite. Yeah.
Well,
It's obscene.
you know what I'm saying? Look, I'm the bitch to take my T-bone home. If I go out in public and shit, I'm like, I gotta take this bitch home and gnaw this motherfucker like it's supposed to, because I can't get it in like I need to up in this restaurant. Look, I go tell him pack it up. Oh yeah, can you pack this up for my dog? Motherfucker said that bitch gonna eat that shit in the car.
She gonna eat
gonna get up. Right.
Well,
All that gristle and shit. I need to
I
get
know
that
that's right.
motherfucker.
Turkey butt,
Cracking and suck the marrow
Yeah,
out.
and the merle and all that shit. Yeah.
Blue, it is my goal. I'm gonna get you some turkey butt tail this week. I'm gonna make them up, and I'm telling you, you sitting here thinking you don't like them.
He gonna like him.
You're gonna like them.
Like him.
I can't do them.
He gonna like him.
I have a question for you guys.
yes.
For my folks who are into astrology, what planetary thing is happening right now?
All of them.
Because my
Everything's in retrograde.
creativity is at an all-time high. I have so many ideas just going through my head that like I can't
Everything
get
is in
That's what's happening.
retrograde.
That's what's happening.
All of it.
But
That's what's happening. And then on top of that shit, Mercury is in retrograde. So it's like,
Mercury's
you know,
always in fucking
No,
retrograde.
but Mercury and like 5 other planets.
yeah,
Sasha had
everything.
to
So
give
we don't
me-
know what the fuck is happening.
She gave me a thorough reading last night and helped me understand what the hell is
Who?
going on in my life, Navasha.
Oh
shit, I wanted her to do.
Right.
I
Can
need
we
to
get
with
her on here to read all of us?
oh, well, I think it's a very.
I don't know if I want to be
personal-
read on air. I don't know if I want to be read on air. Motherfucker, like, I'm
give you a general
sensing your
understanding,
ass is fucking
your-
crazy.
Forgive my ignorance because I don't know about these things. So
It's
Oh,
a personal
well,
experience.
The spirit is coming. The spirit is coming. Oh, I'm feeling it. Oh, the spirit. The spirit says that you ain't shit. Oh. I don't want to be read on air.
Geminis are affected heavily by this Mercury shit.
go ahead.
So Mercury
Aries
is
fire
the
signs, y'all bet Mercury is a good and a interesting thing for us.
it is, and also Mercury is about communications.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not saying it. What messes up in communication is Mercury teaches us how to listen and how to think before we respond. The reality is that in our haste, we're so used to thinking, and we don't conceptualize how fast thinking happens. Like your thoughts are in a process of moving, seconds before you actually state
Light
it.
speed. That should
Yeah, so it's like when Mercury, and the reason why it's named Mercury is because it was the messenger god. So it was the fastest of all of the gods and goddesses in Greek mythology. That's who Mercury was. Well, Roman mythology. It was Hermes in Greek mythology. But anyway, he was the fastest god, which kind of is how we think. We think fast. And it represents communication. And usually that is something that we really don't spend time really analyzing our thoughts before we respond. We just respond. And a lot of times that's where we jack shit up in communication, relationships, communication, financial situations, communication, jobs, education, family. All of that is about communication and social interaction. The word social is about communication. And what we fuck up in as humans is communication. And so Mercury is teaching us that before you respond, that's what the retrograde is about. Is before you respond, don't shut the fuck up and really think. Don't start no new shit.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go out this bitch wanting to. Don't do nothing. Fix
Don't
all your
do
old
nothing.
shit.
You already started.
Yeah, finish what you
Mhm.
started. Analyze that shit before you say something. Before you send something, you read that bitch 3 times and take it to the librarian and have her read it
proofread that
6
bitch.
times.
That's right.
Exactly.
You want to make sure that you have your situation, and that's why
As that
electronic
is
technology fuck up.
You know what I learned, and this was such a big one. It was through retrograde, and it made me really. I don't know. I feel like it made us even closer if that was possible in the first place.
Yes, we are in retrograde.
Yeah.
But like me and Karen, I learned that me and Kay cannot text when we are having a serious conversation.
No, you can't do that with no Sagittarius anyway.
For our will mean something one way, but we use so many tones and inflections when we talk to each other anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That in text it all comes off as
Exactly. And look, that's
this.
why if I gotta send more than if I gotta respond more than 3 or 4 times, I gotta call you because it's like I'm not going back and forth because I know that in text, that's why a lot of people get caught the fuck up with these, relationships and different shit. Because in text, you can read a text and because it has no emotion, inflection, and all of that stuff behind it, if you already thinking in your head a certain type of way, when you read that, you're gonna be like, oh, I knew it, this motherfucker cheating on me. And it's like, no.
On the flip side of what Jonathan was saying, is that's through text, but in person, we can communicate without ever saying a word.
Mm-hmm.
The two of us.
You can feel it, and you can feel it when you're around certain people.
You have whole conversations without saying nothing at all.
Like literally, we'll beam over, ready to go, and then just let's go. Yeah, here we go.
Right. Time to go. Motherfuckers don't packing that shit up.
Right.
Like what's the name was that Duke joint when
literally
Oprah came in.
Like we had like 3 real arguments, and it was all from text message. And it was just like, then we just finally realized, okay, we can't do text messages no more because the shit don't work.
At all.
And then I've noticed that it was always in retrograde when that shit would happen.
It was always, wow, yeah.
Retrograde.
And so I've learned that a lot of times for my real relationship, for my real people, that if it's something I need to say where it may come across weird in a text message, I just call.
Yeah.
Or I can leave a voice message or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say it, it's gonna look like, what did you call me? Bitch, I'm gonna get your
Did you say I had uneven titties, bitch? Fuck you.
Oh my!
So trying to defend that shit. I do have one longer tit, but you didn't have to bring that up.
Remember, Brianna said our faces. Brianna, you ain't never lied.
Right.
Let me tell you.
You
just said a word. We say don't. If it's about something that don't get into no argument, don't. Because
and you will learn every time. You learn every time because like that first retrograde when I first became awake and started getting into all this stuff. When that first retrograde, when I tell you that shit came up behind me like, boop, bitch, I was like. I tell you that bitch should have been dead. That bitch out of breath. I came out the retrograde like.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
Oh,
as I started knowing what it was, you know what I mean? It was like, okay, slow down. Because you definitely need to slow the fuck down. Because if you running a mile a minute, you're going to be fucked up. So you got to slow down and really observe all the stuff that's going on.
Observate.
Observate.
I
was about to
say you can observate.
Because I had 2 different thoughts going at one time. I said observate. I did correct. Observate. That's the word for the day.
Hold on. Even though I heard what you said, and I'm like, observate. I was nodding my head like she's speaking some powerful shit. She over there talking some.
I mean, well, we all the creators of
Let me tell
language.
you was about this close
Say
to
that
a
again,
right-on sister. You was
First
this
of all,
close.
if fucking
You was
Pat,
this close.
if motherfucking Fabuloso, whatever the fuck they be, what the fuck is that damn word they use? They be running that shit together. I forgot. Fuck it.
Oh fuck.
Fabuloso, isn't that the cleaner?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Not
The purple one is the
Fabuloso,
best
not
one.
Fabuloso.
It's great.
No, not
Yes.
Fabuloso.
Oh, the
You
word
know
of the
which one I
day.
like?
Fantabulous, that's the word. Fantabulous. Now we know that that's not a
somebody
real
said
word.
the word for that fabric softener that I like. Is it really Suavitel? That shit is great.
Who?
I never heard of it.
Fabuloso.
No, I never heard of Suavitel.
Fabric softener. What about which fabric softener?
Isn't it called Suavitel?
It is.
Somebody out there
It's
in the
called
world.
Suavitel fabric softener. I'm the
That's what I
fact checker on the show.
Let me tell you,
I ain't never heard of that shit.
It's the best shit on earth.
Hey yo, it
Got a
exists.
little white lady holding a child on there, and that shit is wonderful. It smells like magic. It feels like. Feel like
Oh, I wish I could show you. It's so creepy. It's so creepy. The lady is looking at the baby, and the baby is looking
holding
up
a
at her
child.
like this.
When I tell you, though, that shit smells like heaven. The blue one. You got to get the blue.
Yeah, the blue one. The blue one always good.
But it's so. I mean, it had your shit so comfortable.
Mm.
You throw a slide on your ass so different. It's
Wait,
fun.
hold on now. Hold on. What?
They
We
do
talking
this
about
Suavitel.
Yeah, Suavitel. Yes. The word of the day is definitely observate.
Observate.
To observe.
That's slowed out. That's
And
smoothed
it is
out.
a verb. It is
But I
a
like
verb.
this character, the whole
like-
definition.
Okay.
Observate. My bad, y'all. That was a slip of the tongue. But I was aware that it wasn't a real word.
I like when tongue slip too.
I wonder
But
if it's gonna show me
Ain't
the
nothing
picture.
I ever complained about.
I mean, oh, you know what? We gotta go on. That was only question 2.
Damn.
I know. I'm like, wait a
Gotta
minute.
speed this shit up.
I'm like, wait a minute. We need another question up in here.
Come on, Blanche.
The floor is open. Are there any? The floor is open for a cocktail question. Who has something for me?
Oh, let's see. Let me think up some shit.
We done talked about turkey tails.
Oh,
About
boom.
racism.
What y'all think about this August Alsina,
Bill.
Jada Pinkett situation?
What
Come on,
happened was
You know, I haven't really read into it because I haven't really been on social media like that. So I really don't know the details of what's really going on. I just kind of caught the tail end of it where all these memes kept popping up on my page with, Will
That's how I
Smith.
found out about it.
So I didn't even know what the hell they was talking about. So I haven't even looked into the story to find out what they're talking about.
I don't really. The reason I'm talking about it because it speaks to something deeper. But it sounds gossipy, and it is because that's what the fuck it is. It's not. I mean, the reality is that why the fuck should I care about August Alsina or Jada Pinkett? Bitch never paid the BG&E bill over at my motherfucking establishment.
I'm trying to get you to lie. You already talking about August. Fuck that. You bitch. I'm trying to get through
But
July.
wait a minute though. When you started talking about it, I was thinking, God damn, what's happening in August? We just
Right.
Yeah.
That's
You
the
thought it
shit
was
name.
another. Hold on. You thought it was another. You thought it was another retrograde. You was
I
like,
sure
what the
did. I
fuck?
was like,
Oh
this
shit.
shit's supposed to be over soon.
You see his eyes. August Alsina retrograde. Oh fuck this shit.
Come on, baby.
Tired of this shit.
I cared about August Alsina as much as I cared about his career.
I don't even know who the fuck none of these people are. Outside
look.
of Jada Pinkett and Will Smith. I don't know what the fuck is happening. I don't care what the fuck is happening. I got other
Yeah.
shit going on. You know
I'm
what I'm
a
saying? Like, I'm
Xerox
focusing
copy.
on my own personal world right now. I can give a fuck about what they doing.
I'm
That's
getting
where
ready
I'm
to Xerox a Facebook post I saw. Be like, yeah, when that August Alsina and Jada Pinkett Smith, I know y'all been waiting for my comment. Yeah, find Breonna Taylor's killers. The end.
Yes.
Yeah, That's where I'm at with it.
Yes. But the reason why I wanted to talk about it was talking about what people do between the sheets. When is it like, or what they, their personal relationship.
I ain't trying to be the bitch that don't know nothing, but I'm just saying I'm gonna need to know what the fuck.
I'm about to tell you. Hold on, ADHD. So
now I got ADHD because I want to ask my question. Now I got ADHD.
Hold on, lead baby.
I'm just saying, hurry the fuck up.
So, hold up now.
Look at that bitch lollygagging and shit, motherfucker dragging this shit out like an old Negro spiritual out this motherfucker. Well, the way I see
I'm trying to give you the backstory as to why I am saying what I'm saying.
All right, go ahead.
That's why I'm doing that. Oh, don't rush me now, nigga. Don't rush me now.
All right, goddamn shit. We got all night. We got all goddamn night. I told you.
No, but so apparently Jada Pinkett was mentoring August Alsina, who is a vocalist, and according to
I bet he is.
you is late, Mr. Gilmore. But anyway, so
in the camera like.
And so she was mentoring him and doing their
mentoring somebody and saying, that's
right.
Well, not in singing and
he was tutoring a bit. He was tutoring a bit.
Acting, because I think he was trying to, and also he was going through some mental health and substance abuse issues and things. And so she was just helping him along, apparently. Well, according to him, they developed a relationship and started having this intimate affair. And, Jade and Will and Bill Cosby are like,
wait a minute. Bill was involved?
Wait a minute. Come out of there.
I was like, what the fuck going on? That's some freaking shit.
Wait a minute, Christy said.
Listen, time out.
So August Alsina and Bill Cosby walk into a bedroom.
Shut up.
I was gonna say Dr. Heathcliff Huxtable and Claire. I was going to say those two because that's what. But when I was thinking of Dr.
It's like a bad joke. Will and Bill walk into a bar. What the fuck? Oh shit! No, I don't want to go. I don't want to.
You get time out. You get time out right now. Getting time out.
You just wanted to show us the back of her head. It looks nice.
You gotta throw your black power fist up. That's right. You can come out. No. You almost triggered my asthmatical. And I'm not trying to.
I'll be good now.
Almost triggered my asthmatica.
Brianna said Bill Cosby. What the hell?
Right. That was
Look, at first I was in the story like, yeah, okay. She said Bill Cosby. I said, what? Bill? Did you say Bill? And then they adding shit to the story and shit. That's why I got locked up. Oh shit, I didn't know that. Did you adding shit? You done fucked up on that one. He said Bill.
I apologize. I meant Heathcliff.
You got to retract that motherfucker. You better roll
it all the way back.
Trying to get a libel suit on him.
Hell yeah. Bill and Gerald like, I didn't do it this time. I don't know when it was a Jello pudding pop.
Yeah, that's right, Brandon. Thank you. So what I was trying to say was basically Will was helping him. Not Will. Jada was helping him. And
don't you tell this damn story no more. You go.
Right. And that's when Elmer Fudd has said, like, what the fuck? I was trying to figure out who won the tap off between Daffy and Bug. And You're like, the fuck is you talking about?
Get your ass in timeout. Get your ass in timeout. There you go. That's what
So
you get.
essentially, from what I've read, I'm reading now. Jaden introduced August Alsina to his family. Jada
Right.
started mentoring him, and
I
then
said that.
no one knows if he's been in a relationship sexually. If not, and Will Smith may have co-signed it. It was like he was cool with it.
Well, no, August Alsina stated in a comment he made during an interview that they were.
But also the problem is that August Alsina has had a long history of mental health issues where he's had hallucinations and other schizophrenic moments. So no one knows if this relationship was just in his head or if this was an actual relationship.
Thank you. So that's where I was basically asking. So the reality is, and hold on, I'm into my second cocktail. So
Bill Cosby.
yeah, I'm thinking of a lot of shit at one time. Oh, get out of there. I'm sorry. I almost left your ass in there for a day. You're so stupid. Why do you work? Why do you do this with me?
I was over this bitch playing and shit.
Yeah, you're right. He do act like that one creepy guy who don't like to be friend zoned.
So wait a minute.
You ain't never lied. That's
You know,
shit.
this is my first time hearing the story. So what you telling me is a semi-schizophrenic or crazy person. Well, I ain't gonna say crazy person. I take that back for all y'all that's got mental disabilities. But
I mean, you just fucked that one all up.
All of us.
So you telling me that the person, the person schizophrenic, maybe schizophrenic or whatever disorder they had, mental disorder, is what the what you said his name was August or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He got mental issues. Is that what you said? I was in time. I'm just saying. I told y'all I ain't hear the story.
Possibly.
Okay, possibly.
But what I was talking about was taking into consideration those things that Jonathan was talking about. And, you know, we don't like in intimate situations and not necessarily sexual situations, just when you get to know somebody and how it can be easily like those mixed messages. You may be perceiving one thing while the other person is like, you know, I'm just being a casual person, but you're looking at it like you really care about me. You really, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
so
right.
I wanted to talk about that as a spinoff from this situation that's going on between them. Because the first time, go ahead.
I want to add to that. So I don't know if any of you follow Red Table Talks, but I remember seeing an episode where Jada and Will addressed their marriage and their relationship because people were saying they were swingers, and they both agreed that they were never getting a divorce. That they both agree that, you know, I don't care if you with somebody else, you can be with them on the other side of the house. But as for this here right here, it ain't never ended.
Divorce, right?
And the other thing that I'm gonna add to that is, I'm looking at the article that I posted. His quote was, he said, "I get it. As far as the denial, I get it. Not only do I get it, but I'm also sorry you feel that way. But the only attack here is against the invisible walls of silent societal construct and code that we place upon each other and upon ourselves, hidden behind the desires of others' approval and acceptance." And that's something that, Blue, you and I have spoken about before. The fact that, you know, what's good for me and you might not be good for you and him.
Right.
But it works for us. And everybody ain't ready for what we got going on.
Right.
You know I think that's the thing that's throwing everybody with the story is because everybody already knows that they are, I'm for lack of a better word, that they are open and that it's not a break off deal. So for her to be so adamantly to deny it when she doesn't have to, that's what makes me think that there is something more to this and that it may exist beyond what he's saying. Because they've already discussed ad nauseum for years that, you know, this would not be a deal breaker. It wouldn't be this. It would be never. And everybody mentally would be prepared if somebody said, "Oh yeah, I did this," and they were like, "Oh yeah, that happened." Nobody would give a shit. But when it happens to somebody's like, "I didn't do that shit. Now I may have did some other shit, but not that shit." Right.
I get it.
I think that's what I think is more of the conversation. That and the fact that he put it out there, when what was your intent for putting it out there? Like, what
So,
did you want to gain from putting this out there? Other than
well,
the fact you got an album that's about to drop. Ain't
well,
nobody
Kit,
giving a shit about your last album.
oh,
Oh.
see, you had to get that one in
Oh.
I did.
there.
I'm
You had
sorry.
to
It's a bell.
oh,
Ding, 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 ding.
I mean,
And ever
so
Kanye West started
Kit,
acting stupid, there's a CD coming out, so I've noticed the trend with these motherfuckers.
well,
I love
so
Kanye.
Kit, this is the part of the show that I have to bid everyone adieu. I've had several cocktails, and we've had an interesting conversation.
Damn,
And
that's it.
I've learned some things, and for some things, I told a long story. But what I am going to do is,
It's over.
Yeah.
yes, I'm going to say good night.
Yeah.
This is the Cocktail Social. We are at Be Exposed Radio. These are my socialites, and I am your host,
like you.
that bitch from the East,
I like
wicked bitch from the East, the cocktail cat, Miss Kitty the Cat Couture. Good night.
Good day, sir.
That was so unexpected.
Here we
That shit is funny as
Here we
hell.
go.
I wasn't ready to
I
leave.